All right, let's talk about one of my favorite things in EMDR, bilateral stimulation. The magical looking, deceptively simple thing everyone sees on TikTok and thinks they now understand EMDR. Spoiler, they do not. So let's back up and give this thing a little context because EMDR isn't just me waving my hand in front of your face like I'm trying to land a plane. There is a whole mechanism behind it, and its origin story is honestly wild. So picture this, it's the late 1980s. Francine Shapiro, the founder of EMDR, is walking through a park. A real normal walk. She's not trying to conduct research. She's not running an experiment. She's literally just trying to cope because she just got diagnosed with cancer. And on this walk, she notices something weird. Her mind keeps drifting to these really distressing thoughts, but when her eyes naturally move left and right, the way your eyes do when you're looking around or thinking, those thoughts suddenly feel less intense. Not gone, but softer, like someone turned the emotional volume down. Now, most people would have that experience, shrug, and move on with their day. But Francine, she was a psychologist and a complete genius. So she went, wait, that was weird. And she actually tried to replicate it on herself, on volunteers, and shocker, it kept working. That tiny moment in the park became the basis for what would turn into one of the most researched, the most effective therapies for trauma in the world. So, what is bilateral stimulation? Bilateral stimulation is exactly what it sounds like. You're stimulating both sides of the brain in a rhythmic pattern. Eyes moving left, right, or tapping left, right, or alternating tones in your ears. Why does it work? And here's the simplest way I can explain it. When the brain is processing something stressful, it kind of gets stuck. Bilateral stimulation helps it unstick itself. It activates the brain's natural information processing system, the thing that gets overloaded during trauma, and gets it moving again. It's like your brain tries to file something, but the folder jammed halfway. EMDR goes in and says, move over there. And suddenly the memory stops acting like a fire alarm and becomes just a memory. And mechanically, what exactly is happening there? So let me break this down the way that I explain it to my clients without the neuroscience jargon. The emotional part of the brain, the amygdala, is doing the most. The logical part, the prefrontal cortex, is sitting in the corner like, girl, I would help you if I could, but I cannot just reach you right now. Bilateral stimulation basically builds a bridge between those two parts. So while we're activating the memory, the left-right stimulation keeps the brain from spiraling into overwhelm. It creates just enough regulation for the brain to actually digest the memory instead of choking on it. You don't forget the memory, but it stops running your life. You remember it the way you remember any other past event, but without panic, the shame, the body reaction, the pressure in your chest, the 2 a.m. overthinking, all of that just fades. And that's the beauty of EMDR. Why it looks so simple, but it actually is not. And people always ask me, why does moving your eyes do anything? And that's a great question. If I could explain the entire complexity of human neurobiology in one video, I'd probably be on tour with a TED Talk. But what we know is bilateral stimulation mimics the processing that naturally happens in REM sleep. It helps integrate fragmented memories, and it allows emotional material to shift without re-traumatizing you, which is exactly why EMDR is not a DIY YouTube activity and why you shouldn't be EMDRing yourself in your car with a pair of kitchen spoons. The bottom line is Francine wasn't trying to invent a new therapy. She was trying to make sense of her own internal chaos while dealing with cancer. And that moment led her to discover something that has now helped millions of people heal from trauma, limiting beliefs, performance blocks, phobias, you name it. Bilateral stimulation is powerful. It looks very simple, but it's doing something incredibly complex behind the scenes. And if you've ever wondered why EMDR feels like emotional surgery, this is why.